moment, that was a much more comfortable win than the Espanyol one at the weekend. And you could see Materazzo's side are really struggling to find their feet early on in this season.
Yeah, difficult opening for them. 2 losses back-to-back now, opening day against Betis as well. Luis, one of the good things for Real Madrid today as well is that we saw Vini, Mbappe and Jude Bellingham all combining to get the goals.
Yeah, exactly. Having a laugh, of enjoying. I think they played a very good game in the second half. The first 45, they were a bit more struggling on the build-up. And let's not forget, we've been talking a lot about this Real Madrid, the needs of someone in the middle to bring the ball in good condition to the players up front. That they are, of course, clinical. We saw today Kylian Mbappe, but also Vinicius Junior was very a big threat in the second 45 minutes. So overall, I think it's a very good win, a good test against Real Sociedad. That another year they're gonna be depending on Oyarzabal, no players up front who can score goals. And Real Madrid showed that not only the ones who started the 11, but also the replacement, once again Ibrahim Diaz, SP in the second half, and also Cucurella can bring something different. So the depth into the squad gets there. I think that is still missing a few players if they want to challenge for LaLiga and of course Champions League. But definitely today we saw a good Real Madrid for most of the game, and of course the result is a fantastic one to keep on going on this season.
Let's elaborate on that Jude Bellingham point that you made, continuing that form that we saw from him in the World Cup. We saw him in the opening game looking good, and once again today, Craig.
He looks really strong, comfortable. He's driving past people like he did for England at the World Cup when he's picked the ball up and somebody's tight to him. He just has that sharpness within his step to get away from whoever's marking him, to bust onto the front foot, to get at the back four. And on top of that, his work rate's been excellent as well as it was for England. He really took England on his shoulders, particularly that game in the Azteca, when they were up against the conditions and been down a man. So, yeah, it's what we expect from Bellingham. The goals will come. Obviously, he scored against Espanyol. But it's just the all-round attitude, I think. If Bellingham's attitude is spot on, the rest of his game falls into place. And certainly, from the summer to now, those facets of his game have been excellent. Now, Kylian Mbappe gets a hat-trick, man of the match. He'll get the headlines, could have had 4 or 5. But I do think the introduction of Cucurella at left-back just gave them an impetus. And I think he'll be a big plus point for Vinicius Junior, because he hasn't really had somebody that's continually want to overlap and support him and help him in that position, and he'll get that from Cucurella. So when Cucurella, sometimes you want a wide player to be left on his own, one-on-one, but other times you want that full-back overlapping and busting a gut to give you that option to come inside or to take an extra defender away, because quite often Vinny Junior, like a lot of top players, gets doubled up on. He has 2 players to beat, and when you have a Cucurella getting down the outside, that can open up the game for you and open up the space. So that's a big plus point for them. But they have taken advantage, I don't think there's any doubt, of a side in Real Sociedad that are waiting for players to come back. They haven't started the season well. They lost almost every pre-season game they played. I think it was 5 games. They lost every one of them. So they're not in great form. But in terms of José Mourinho coming back in to Real Madrid, it's 2 wins. It was much more comfortable tonight. And even if there was a few whistles in the first half, after about 35 minutes or so, because they were a little frustrated, what we saw in the second half was more of, I think, what Mourinho will expect going forward. And of course, they've got some players still to come back in. He's still trying to figure things out. But it was a much more accomplished 45 minutes in the second half, hence the scoreline.
Yeah, we saw more chances for Mbappe in this game. He did finish the match with a hat-trick, however. Luis, what did you make of him today?
No, it was very good. I think that the freedom they received from Mourinho gave him the confidence to move around all the places. This time, I think that I feel more that he knows that he cannot be dropping down to the middle of the park when he doesn't receive the ball quite often. That is something that last year was doing a lot, so he wasn't in the right position at the right time. We saw him today in the right moments appearing in those pockets. That ability to find the gaps in between the defenders is something that Kylian Mbappe knows how to do very well. And the other thing is today he was clinical. If he had 4 or 5 chances, he scored 3. And that's something that we can expect from Kylian Mbappe during now until the end of the season. So fantastic game today, 3 goals, and I'm sure that it looks sharp as always. and numbers are right there, and I'm expecting the best of him this season.
I think one of the big things for Mourinho and all his experience and all his nous, getting this opportunity, which is really a surprise, getting this job off the back of the Alonso and Arbeloa, is that, yeah, he's getting some new players in and he has to find the right balance, and they have to challenge Barcelona, who've been the best team in Spain the last couple of seasons, bar none. I mean, it's not even been close. And they've started their season particularly well. Is one of the things that Mourinho has to do, amongst all the tactical stuff, is do what, unfortunately, Alonso couldn't do, is get everybody on the same page. Unfortunately, they were not. They're moaning about training. He was moaning about game time. This one was moaning about this, that, and the next thing. He has to make sure that he'll have these little issues throughout a season, but he has to make sure, if they are going to challenge Barca all the way, that everyone has to be on the same page, that everybody has to realise it's not just about them. Yeah, there'll be star players, there'll be hat-tricks for Mbappe and stuff like that. Vinicius Junior will have his day, Bellingham will have his day. It's about sharing the load. If he can do that and convince these egos that, you know, it's all about the bigger story, they've got a chance. But if they fall back into, if they got a couple of bad results and they fall back into the blame game, which is where they were last year, it's everybody else's fault, it's not mine, then they won't go the full season. So that's the biggest task ahead, I think, for the manager going back in. And listen, he's got the experience to do that. But it's when that bad result happens and comes along, is whether he can keep everybody on that, you know, even keel. That's going to be the big question at Real Madrid.
Yep, he's got Vinny Junior smiling today, though, so we'll see how long that will continue. Luis, thank you so much for being with us. More La Liga to follow here on ESPN.